Ukrainian military continues offensive operations in Donetsk region. Defense forces have taken full control of the village of Zarichne, Kramatorsk district, raising the national flag over the destroyed buildings of the settlement. This was reported by the press service of the General Staff. On the morning of September 8, the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine officially confirmed another success in the east of the country. The forces of the 425th Separate Assault Regiment, Skelya, completely took control of the village of Zarichne, which is part of the Lymansk urban community of the Kramatorsk district of the Donetsk region. The military statement notes that after fierce fighting, units of the armed forces of Ukraine entered the settlement and established control over its territory. In confirmation of this, the General Staff published a video where the Ukrainian flag flutters above one of the buildings of the village, which suffered significant damage from Russian shelling. The liberation of Zarichne was another step in strengthening Ukraine's position on the left bank of the Seversky Donets River, an important defense line in the Donetsk region. It allows Ukrainian forces to expand their zone of control and creates additional pressure on Russian troop groups in the region. The General Staff emphasized that the work to liberate Ukrainian land continues, and every step forward is the result of the courage and coordinated actions of Ukrainian soldiers. It was previously reported that the Ukrainian defense forces are having success on the front. In particular, the military managed to liberate the village of Novoekonomikne in the Donetsk region from Russian invaders. The day before, on August 30th, the defense forces of Ukraine liberated the settlement of Myrn in the Kupiansky district of the Kharkiv region. Ukrainian forces are making gains on several front lines. In particular, a significant portion of the front has been retaken in the Pokrovsk and Dobrapilya directions, according to a post by the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, Oleksandr Syrsky. I worked in areas of active combat operations, the Pokrovsk, Dobrapilya, and Siversk directions. I conducted inspections at the command posts of units carrying out combat missions in these sections of the front. The Pokrovsk direction remains one of the most challenging. Over the past week, our units have repelled about 350 enemy attacks, Syrsky said. He emphasized that Russian forces are concentrating their main efforts in the Pokrovsk direction, assembling the largest offensive grouping there. Despite this, Defense Forces units have regained control over 26 square km of Ukrainian territory, after losing 5 square km in August. A similar favorable balance for Ukraine has been recorded in the Dobrapilya direction. I listened to reports from commanders on the ground, including on issues that require urgent resolution. I issued the necessary orders to strengthen defensive resilience. We are supplying units with additional ammunition and drones, and reinforcing electronic warfare capabilities and fortifications, added the Commander-in-Chief.
Ukrainian National Guard troops have wiped out a Russian sabotage group that slipped into a frontline village in the Donetsk region, according to Ukraine's Dnipro Operational Strategic Command on September the 5th. Soldiers of the National Guard's 4th Rapid Response Brigade, Rubies, working with neighboring units, launched a clearance operation on the Dobrapilya axis, according to United 24 Media. Troops involved in the mission said up to 8 Russian soldiers infiltrated the settlement but were quickly contained and surrounded inside a residential building on the village outskirts. To dislodge the group, the National Guard deployed a Rochelle Senator armored vehicle using its mounted machine gun to fire on Russian positions. Recon units then stormed the building and finished clearing out the remaining soldiers. Preliminary reports suggest the engagement left as many as a platoon of Russian troops killed, wounded, or captured. The Rubies Brigade reported that all its fighters returned safely from the operation without losses. Earlier, Ukrainian forces regained control of the village of Myrny in the Kharkiv region, located next to the city of Kupiansk. The area had previously allowed Russian troops to influence the main route leading into the city. Oleksiy Bielski, spokesperson for the Dnipro Operational Strategic Group of Troops, said that Ukrainian armed forces cleared Pokrovsk, liberated Udachne and Novokonomichne, and are destroying Russian reinforcements moving toward Dobropilya. According to him, the invaders are trying at all costs to maintain control of the so-called Dobropilya salient, pulling reserves there from south to north. There is a new narrow corridor there, about 6 kilometers wide. It is under complete fire control of Ukrainian forces. Artillery, mortars, ATGMs, bombers are working there. One of the brigades reported that they captured a prisoner. To the north, there are only dirt roads. Prisoners say they call them roads of death. They can be killed along the way or left dead under Dobropilya. It's a one-way road, Bielski explained. According to him, heavy fighting continues in the Novopavlivka sector, especially near the village of Vosrezenka, right on the Donetsk-Dnipropetrovsk administrative border. They enter in small groups, plant their rag flag, film a video. These are so-called death squads. Usually, such groups are quickly detected and destroyed by our forces. The situation there is dynamic and developing quickly. They come, they are destroyed. Our forces advance, then theirs, and so on. I cannot say that Russians have entrenched in Dnipropetrovsk region. We have no evidence of that. Perhaps they entered briefly and were eliminated, the spokesperson said. Russian assault groups continue their continuous attempts to find weak spots in the defense of the 66th Separate Mechanized Brigade, named after Knyaz M. Krabry in the Lymansk sector. The key task that the command sets for them is to penetrate Ukrainian territory and force firearms operators to find their positions. Ukrainian UAV crews have become a thorn in the side of the occupiers, constantly disrupting their plans. The Russian command also did not spare personnel at all, sending more and more groups to be destroyed. The result is that Ukrainian soldiers are destroying most of these groups, even on the approach to forward positions. Thus, the losses of the occupation army are only increasing. Ukrainian defenders are inflicting heavy losses on Russians in the Lymansk sector, though the enemy still holds a significant manpower advantage, the 66th Separate Mechanized Brigade said. According to the soldiers fighting in the area of responsibility of the 66th Mechanized Brigade did not subside throughout the summer as Russian invaders tried to break through Ukrainian defenses. As a result, more than 2,200 enemy troops neutralized by the fighters of the Brave Brigade. Notably, almost 60% of hits this summer ended with the death of Russians on the battlefield, the brigade reported. The soldiers also said Russian commanders allow evacuation from the battlefield only in cases of severe injury. Despite the high number of eliminated troops, the enemy still holds a manpower advantage. Despite significant losses, the occupying force maintains at least a six-fold numerical superiority in the 66th Brigade's area of responsibility, the defenders said. On September the 1st, serviceman Stanislav Bunyatov, author of the Telegram channel Sniper Speaks and known for the call sign Osman, reported that Russian forces were advancing toward the city of Lyman and were just 7 kilometers away. There are no good forecasts yet for the Lyman front, he said. According to him, Russian forces are actively working to cut off Ukrainian logistical routes, which allows them to advance. Meanwhile, analysts from the Institute for the Study of War, ISW, assessed that Russian occupation forces are preparing for a fall offensive. Experts believe the enemy will focus efforts on capturing the remaining parts of Donetsk Oblast, particularly in the areas of Dobropilya, Pokrovsk, and Konstantinivka.